Yeah, he's crazy.
And we'll talk a little bit about AKC, and maybe I'll go over a couple dogs and show you what I see as far as our confirmation. In AKC, they have a standard, and that's a written document that tells you what your dog is being compared to when they judge him in the ring. So they're really not supposed to be judging your dog against the other dogs in the ring. They're judging your dog against the standard. And so they pick the dog that matches the standard close enough. And the standard is on the AKC website. You just go to Border Collie, and it tells you what their temperament's supposed to be like, what their eye shape, color, what their neck's supposed to be like, their shoulders. And the purpose of some of that is to maintain the look of the Border Collie, right? We don't want a Border Collie to look like a German Shepherd or another breed. And part of it is for the structure. The structural aspects of it is for the dog to be able to work. It's that you have a dog that could work from morning to night, because structurally they are made for working. I mean, we all know that ballerinas have different, you have to have a certain body type. You can't have short legs and a long body and be a ballerina. And the same would be true for Border Collies, that the structure is important so that the hocks don't break down, the hips don't break down, things like that. So that's what they're looking for in AKC. They're also looking at the way the dog performs in the show ring. Is it a showy dog that catches the judge's eye? And movement, which is really, really important.
Yeah, that's my big question. You know,
and I'll show you good movement, and then we'll take the other dog that I haven't seen before, and we'll assess that dog's movement. The reason movement is important, they do it at a trot because that's the dog's natural gait. And the feet need to lay in a way that is conducive for that dog to work for long periods of time. Again, it's a structure for performance, that the dog can perform. And even agility dogs, especially agility dogs, working dogs like this, they need to have good structure so that they don't get injuries, they don't get hip dysplasia. You know, there's just a lot of different things. So movement on the Border Collie, that when they move, their paws need to hit in a straight line. So if we had the dirt completely flat and you trotted your Border Collie down, you should see paw prints just like this in a straight line.
oh, okay.
So that means that the dog's chest, legs are coming into a pattern that's completely straight. That's the way they should move. They shouldn't move like this. They shouldn't move with their elbows out. Shouldn't pad out like this. And that's from the front. So you see at the dog shows on TV, they say take the dog down and back, and the judge is standing there, and the dog goes away, and he's looking at the dog's rear legs. Are his hocks going out, or are they all over the place? Or is he tracking smooth? And probably a lot of you guys know all this stuff. It's probably very similar to horses. I don't know that much about horses, even though I used to have some. So they should be tracking like this, not, you know, all over the place. Good structure, good muscle tone will give them a nice straight track. They shouldn't cow hawk, you know, the hawk should not go out, and they shouldn't, you know, hawk in. So that's the down and back, and so the judges normally will tell you to do a down and back. And at that time, they're assessing the dog's front movement and the dog's rear movement. Then they have the dog go around. The normal process in a show is that the judge will bring the dogs in, he'll stand back and look at them, and then he'll say, everybody take them around. And they all go around the ring at one time. And he just kind of then gets okay, here's what all their side movement looks like. And then he'll individually go over each dog. And at that time, he'll move that dog individually. And we can do a practice one today, a little practice dog show if you guys would like to. At that time, they're looking at the side movement. And then I think the side movement in a Border Collie, take this one, I have two, my bitches move very differently from the side. And so that'll be a good example. We'll see if you guys can pick out the difference in them. Maybe I won't even tell you what's different, but see what you guys can see. So this puppy, when it moves, we want this front leg to go out. Not a little bit out. We don't want a choppy gait. We want a full extension of the leg in the front and a full, here baby, right here, a full extension of the rear. A real effortless movement. We want the head low. It's real important for a Border Collie that the head be low. And if we can get the dog to drive, have a driving action, not more powerful in the rear than the front, but still it needs to have just kind of that air that I'm driving, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so that's what the judges are looking for on the side movement. Very little elbow movement, just throwing that front leg out. Many Border Collies don't have a lot of reach in the front, and that's a fault. They don't have reach because of the lack of angulation in here, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But why don't I show you guys my borders, the way they move, and see if you guys can see the difference. what, just from the side, and then maybe we'll do a down and back and let each of you look at the way the dogs move. Does that sound like fun? Okay. Do you have any bait that's more appealing?
Let me see what I got.
Mine's the liver.
I got chicken.
Do you have more of the jerky?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get.
Let me see what I got.
You hold him.